live, James. Cut the swearing, alright? Crikey. You sewer mouth or something? So what class are you playing?
I'm playing a Necromancer at the moment.
I thought you tried a Reverend or something, weren't you?
Yeah, and they're quite hard to play.
I think that's one of the newer classes.
Yeah, I think I saw something about them. And they are new. Yeah. Well, not new. But
I think they came out in the second expansion or something.
How new are the expansions?
I can't think, but I think the Path of Fire one's not been out for maybe a couple of years, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see if anyone appears in the old Twitch chat. I'm very naughty and not left paint on one of my brushes overnight, so it's got a bit dry. Ah, Sundancer. Hello, sir. You okay? Sundancer also does streaming, James. This is my eldest son. I have 4 children. This is my second eldest, but my eldest boy. He normally paints as well, but we had a gaming weekend, or having a gaming weekend. So we set up a bunch of PCs, like an old school LAN, and we found a game that we could all play together, which happened to be Guild Wars, which is a very old game, but for him it's new, and you're enjoying it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, James is back there playing Guild Wars. One of my other sons was in here a minute ago, but he's feeling a bit tired, so he's gone off to bed. He was 9 yesterday, so he had a bit of we had a at-home birthday party. Well, he said to me he was feeling very tired, so yeah. Well, I didn't think it was as old as it was, but Guild Wars 2 came out in 2012. Now, it's not World of Warcraft old, because I've been playing that since it released. But that's still pretty old in this sort of day and age of video games. There's not many video games that still hold up after that many years. And Guild Wars still looks great. I mean, you've liked it, haven't you, James? Sort of like the look of...
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
I also like the combat.
Yeah.
I'm currently fighting this dude for a white stag, which is meant to be like holy and stuff. Because he also wants it to corrupt it. Challenged me to an honourable duel, but I'm just gonna wax forward.
You been hobbying much today, Sundancer?
Unlike Diablo, my minions are not invulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Diablo is a different type of game, really. not really a role. It's just literally a treasure hunter loot game. It's all about just getting the next drop and hopefully getting a lucky roll on the stats and stuff. Where this is absolutely story driven. So they're very different games, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were going to play World of Warcraft, but that seemed like a bad idea.
Yeah.
And seeing as you can pick up a copy, I already had Guild Wars from when I used to play it, but I bought 2 more copies of it for £9 each, and I got all the latest expansions, and obviously it's free to play as well, so there's no subscription. So it seemed like the perfect thing to fire up, really. And now you've got a huge game to play for however long you want to play it for very little money. Of course, James, it is like other games where you can spend money. You can buy cosmetics and stuff like that, but
Yeah. Most games are like that.
yeah, most games that are free to play then have a model where it's about in-game buying of stuff. It's just how disciplined you are about not buying all that nonsense. Yeah, Dawn of War would have been good. Well, there was 3 of us playing as well, so it needed to be something we could have done. But also, Blake's only 9, so an RTS might have been a bit too much to get his head around. Where again, Guild Wars, you don't have to aim to fight or anything. You can just click on what it is you want to kill and fight or do quests and stuff. It's nice and easy to get into. Oh, nice. Cheers, Sundancer, for popping in. I'll see you soon, buddy.
Yeah. Good to see ya. Bye.
Hey, Amanda. How are you? Just turn this Xbox off. I can hear it buzzing behind me. Oh, that's not good to hear. Amanda's not feeling very well. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, all good. I had quite a bad cold for a couple of weeks actually. That has kept thinking might be the thing, but it turned out that I think it was just bad coincidence, bad timing. That knocked me out for a little while, but I'm pretty much over it now. What hobby did you manage to get done, even if it was only for a short time? Oh, let's have a look at this. Oh yeah, that's looking nice. Got some more work done on my Mystic for Saga. It's looking good. It's quite a nice miniature. I like that. It's looking good. It's only a new one. I've not seen that miniature before. I was saying to James earlier, it would have been Salute today. I'd have been coming home with a whole ton of swag, wouldn't I, James? Imagine how much I would have come home with today. Table behind me would have been covered in new stuff, but sadly not the case. Yeah, I go through peaks and troughs. So I want to get. I think to myself, oh, I could get tons done, and I've done a bit. I've definitely, but for the amount of time that I have got available, in between work and stuff, I haven't done as much as I thought I would have done. But sometimes you don't want to do it, right? It's a weird old time. Sometimes you don't feel like picking up a paintbrush or whatever. This painting hobby, this painting HeroQuest is more of challenge than anything else, because I'm actually going to just stick to doing warband stuff. I like it when you just paint like 5 models and you're done. I'm not sure I want to paint big quantities of models anymore. It can get a bit laborious. But HeroQuest is a bit different. It's an old game. It's a piece of my childhood. Yes, but definitely sad about Salute. It's probably one of the it is one of the highlights of our year, really. That and UK Games Expo, and of course that's cancelled as well, or postponed, as it were. Yeah, I know. I know your health's not great. Just do what you can when you feel like it. It's always going to be there. That's the nice thing about the hobby. You haven't got to feel guilty about not doing it. It's always going to be there. So when you feel up for it, just do a little bit. Just keep your hand in. That's the other nice thing about it. You can even just do 10 minutes, can't you? If it's putting down one layer or one highlight, it's something. It's progress. It's moving it forward.
We're 68% through the grove, which is kind of like
Yes.
my main town.
Did you do something for the spring clean challenge, Miranda? Or was you doing anything? I know you've normally always got something on the go, such as your saga there, and normally 2 or 3 things. Oh, cool. I'll start painting soon. Kill the End of Monster again. Oh man. Kingdom Death Monster, the one that got away. I always think I should have got that. Is the warband, is it for Fallout or something, or is it a different one? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's definitely a cool way to do it if you can make something work for multiple things. Is there anything less boring than batch painting? I don't know. That's cool. If you don't mind the superior square bases. I'm one of those people that completely rebased the old Skaven and High Elf army onto rounds. I think aesthetically rounds look nicer, but certainly when your game is rank and flank. Even in Age of Sigmar now, there's still a lot of pilot. Still a lot of one lot hitting into another lot. Square bases is a lot more sensible. Yeah, I agree. You have flanks of people running, or ranks of people flying into each other. Square bases make a hell of a lot more sense. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't. Rounds only work if you're having loose. You can't form up on round bases. It's impossible. You right over there, James?
Yeah, I'm just running around. I've got to level up before I can keep on doing my main quest.
Yeah.
Someone just fell from the sky in a crate. And I'm now reviving them. All I'm looking for is a fish, so that I can save this cat he's been stuck in an ice cube.
Oh, that's,
Like a machine.
yeah, man. I've also thought about getting into Infinity. In fact, I own a whole bunch of it just because it looked cool, and things like the starter sets were always very cool. So I own 2 of those, I think, the starter sets. I even won some terrain once from a competition for Infinity, but I've never painted. I've built the miniatures. I've never painted them, and I've never played it. And one of the things that's put me off playing it is that I've heard it's like rules ridiculousness. And the minis are really cool. I really like them. I could reach out to my right and find a drawer full of them. But the thing that's kind of put me off playing is just so much rules. I really want to give Frostgrave. I think my mission for this year is to get me and James a Frostgrave warband and have a go at Frostgrave. I like the sort of leveling up idea of that and getting better wizards and them learning spells along the way, and so I think that's what we're gonna stick to is more skirmishing. I think if we want to play a futuristic shooter, we'll just play 40k. If we want to play fantasy, we'll probably just play Age of Sigmar. Or even then, it'll be Kill Team and Warcry because they're smaller and more compact. We quite like Warcry. We quite like Kill Team. We really enjoyed playing Beastgrave, didn't we, James?
Yeah, Shadespire.
Shadespire, yeah, that was really cool. We like the deck element, but that's yeah, it is. I know. Post-apocalyptic, we'll probably play All Out War. Because I have the whole Walking Dead box set painted, the Kickstarter one. I don't have all the waves painted, but certainly the original Kickstarter I've painted. Or we'll play, because one of the ones I definitely want to play is Ash Barker's Last Days, which I really want to play that. And we've even got to play Buddy Burrows and Badgers. I have so many Burrows and Badgers painted miniatures. I probably have more than Ben fully painted. I reckon I've got 30 miniatures for Burrows and Badgers fully painted and never played a game. Well, we tried to, but we never actually.
It's hard to play.
It's probably not hard to play. We just need to sit down with the rules and learn it. Yeah, exactly. I got the rule book for it.
I got my rat army.
Yeah, when Ash Barker set up his YouTube channel and left, who did he leave? The other big company that's like a rival, to, not a rival, but as big as sort of Beast of War, Mini Wargaming, and set up on his own. Actually, you know, through money, helped set up his, just like a lot of people did, helped him set up, helped him buy cameras, helped him get rent for his new sort of recording location. So I've been a supporter of his for a long time. So when he brought out his own game, it's like, definitely need to jump on that. That's it, yeah, Mini Wargaming, yeah. Because he was the only, I mean, I used to be on the, you know, they've got a Vault membership thing, a bit like Beasts of War. And the only reason I used to be on that was because he was the best part about the show. Like, his enthusiasm for the games, his knowledge, his sort of, you know, character. When he left there, I was like, well, I've got no reason to watch that anymore. So yeah, I helped him set up his own channel, and that's been going great now. So that was a few years ago.
What channel did he create?
It's just called Guerrilla Miniatures. Like a sort of guerrilla warfare sort of thing, like that sort of guerrilla. Not gorilla as in the animal.
Yeah. That would be good.
Nice. I could go and have a count, but it's something like it's going to be 30. It's everything it's every miniature they've released that I have painted up to the last Kickstarter. So I have those just here.
What goes this?
Burrows and Badgers. So I have all of that, and that's all unpainted. But that was the last Kickstarter set. Can't see it else. Bright white light for some reason. It's white on white. There we go. But otherwise, I have every other miniature. Which is not bad for a game I've not played. We'll have to try it, James. While we're in this quarantine, we'll have to try this.
Okay.
Seems stupid to own it and have not played it. Although I could say that about a lot of games. Yeah, I can't. I wish I could say the same, Amanda, but I can't. There's a few that I own that I've painted warbands for and never played it. In some cases, I can say I've played it at a show and then I've never played it like at home. You know, so Mythos. I played at games. I played at Salute one year. I bought all the miniatures, the entire range. The entire range is painted and it's in the cabinet, and I've never actually played it at home. What else can I say that's true about Volsung? Volsung, I own an entire table of terrain. So much terrain it's untrue. I won that. And I have a whole bunch of 2 warbands plus more. I've played it at Beasts of War when they did the boot camp, and I've never played it since. So I've never actually played it at home, which is pretty bad. I've painted plenty of the miniatures. It tends to be the way though, isn't it? People either play lots and lots of games, but play with unpainted miniatures. Like most people that play in like Games Workshop or something. They might have played 100 games of 40k or maybe more, but they've never actually fully painted their armies. Or there's people that have beautiful painted armies that rarely ever see the table.
That does seem to be a bit true.
Yeah, I think it is James, yeah. But then some people like that. Some people just paint. They don't actually intend to ever play. They just like painting the miniatures. Which is fair enough. Hmm?
I've only just managed to find a fish. It took ages.
Oh, you need to find a fish, did you?
Yeah, and that fish did not drop any like meat. So basically, well, I think this is what I got on him, but there's a cat that's hungry, and it gets me a vista if I can do that. So at least that's what it's saying. So I've got to try and find a way to feed it, and I'm just thinking, catchy fish. So I kill some tuna and then feed it to the cat.
Well, I have to open that door in a sec. That PC that you're running in here is making the room quite warm. Are you hot or?
A bit.
Feels quite. I think it's that PC. I think it's kicking out quite a bit of heat.
Yeah.
There's normally only ever like 2 PCs running in here, and currently there are. Actually, can you shut down that other laptop?
Okay.
There's no need for that to be on.
Yeah, shut down. I've tried doing this, but not a piece of. I found trident on fish, but not a piece of meat. This is so annoying.
Wonder what I would have come home with from Salute today, James. What was I looking for?
I probably would come back with D&D minis.
You reckon D&D minis? Yeah, D&D stuff. I might have got. Well, Salute's more miniature games. There would have been some D&D stuff there, but not an awful lot.
Oh yeah.
D&D would have been all over UK Games Expo. UK Games Expo, I would have come home with definitely a nice fancy DM screen. Like I probably, you know where we went last year where you got those necklaces from.
Yeah.
I reckon I'd have got one of those fancy wooden DM screens because they were so nice.
I wonder if I'll ever get to show that lady that I've still got the necklace.
Yeah, I think you will. Yeah, she will remember you. But it was such a unique situation.
I had the right number, just on the wrong set.
Yeah, she'll definitely remember. Infinity RPG, nice. Didn't even know that was a thing. It's funny how most games seem to have an RPG attached to them now. At some point I want to jump on with Oriskany and do a Modern Warfare RPG with him. Because that just sounds like that would be super interesting. Yeah, cool.
Doing parkour to get this vista, it's super hard. It's all on thin wooden planks. Yeah, I got it. What's up with you?
Yeah. $500 core rulebook, Jesus. Sounds like their RPG is as in depth as their actual tabletop game. Then.
These tuna are bigger than me. They're huge.
Oh, tuna is big.
Yeah, but I didn't think it was this big.
Yeah, tuna. The actual fish of tuna is huge. Well, that's a fantasy game, so it might be exaggerating a little bit, but they are big. They are big fish.
This fish is about twice the size of me. Luckily, tuna aren't quite renowned fighters, so I can take them out fairly easily.
Ever tried tuning a tuna?
I tried
No.
tuning this tuna.
You can try tuning that tuna, see if you can get a tune. But yeah, I don't believe there are fish to be messed with in the real world.
Yeah. luckily I've got magical powers.
Magical powers.
Still not finding any fish in it, so
Well, I think that's the black finished with now. I'll check I've not missed any skin bits because I can see the odd bit of skin every now and then, which is frustrating.
I think my next thing to paint is going to be my Tyranid guy again.
Yeah, you got to get that Tyranid army finished, man. It's so close to being done. It's a real shame not to get it. Literally one miniature, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's a big one.
I am getting it done.
Yeah, you got to.
I've done all the purple. I just had a project. I just had Blake's birthday.
Fish Wars. Yeah. Manager said, how about a tabletop game where it's fishermen, I'm guessing rival fishermen groups beating each other to death with like wet fish.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Just slapping each other with some with tuna, some with like a flat shark or something. Some
yeah.
The underdogs that have only got like, you know, goldfish. Not quite as brutal.
Or someone could have like eels.
Yeah.
Just slap people with eels.
Could be like the Londoners with their jelly dills.
Yeah.
Alright, Gavner. Watch out, I'll have ya.
With the jelly deals.
I was doing alright last night, the other night, James. I had 16 people in it at one point.
Oh, nice.
I know, yeah. So, what the dickens?
Wait, was you streaming last night?
No, when I was painting the other night.
Oh,
I came down and painted.
The other night.
Yeah, not last night.
Yeah, I was thinking for a second that you even recorded us, or you stayed up even later.
No. I came down the other night and did a stream. I actually only streamed for about an hour. I streamed painting up those Chaos Nights. So I wasn't intending to stay on very long, and it's always the way. When you're not planning to stick around, not that I stream much, so it's not like I have a huge amount of experience of it, but it always seems, when I'm planning on, I think, oh, sod it, I'll go on stream and do a little bit. Like last time, I thought I'm going to sit here and only paint for an hour, and then 16 people appeared. Live piranhas as hidden weapons, yeah?
Yeah.
I think you're formulating an idea there, man. There you go. write some rules.
Yeah, take notes.
Let's get this up there.
Start designing characters.
Get it trademarked. Get it on Kickstarter.
We need a name for it.
Yeah.
We Fish Wars.
Fish Wars. The Great Fish Wars.
Fishing Bonanza. I think it's some kind of pun, maybe.
Fisherman versus Peter. Oh, what's Dusty seen? Heard? What's up, Dust?
Dad, bro, I'm trying to scary.
Hmm?
I'm trying to scare the other bad.
Yeah, she loves barking at things. She doesn't even. There's nothing even there. She just thinks there is, and that's enough for her to bark. Silly dog. Right, I'm going to do the wood on the handles now.
I might head up soon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Whoa, not staying up, eh? Can't handle it, eh?
I could handle it.
No, it sounds like you can't.
I could start it and just be punishing myself. take a couple of fins and some gold, and then be okay. No matter how hard I try, I can't find any like actual fish meat.
You look much younger on the second camera. Yeah, that's my good side, Gaz. It's my bad side. That's my good side. In many respects, that is my better side. How are you, sir? You alright? Yeah, we're all good, my friend. How about you? You staying well? Oh, is that you done, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, he's off, guys. We've tired him out.
Change the screen over to...
I'll kill that screw. Give us a hug. Good night, mate. What are you gonna do? Go and watch a bit of telly in bed or something, or go and read or something.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Let's kill off. Catch you later, mate. Yeah, it does feel a bit like that, doesn't it? I mean, I'm still working, but even then, it's like ups and downs, right? It's some days there's busy stuff, some days there's not, and you try and stay busy, but it does feel a bit like what retirement must be like. Although even worse, because my dad retired and he went and got a job at one of these sort of train yards, like restoring trains and stuff. So as he's a bit of a train sort of enthusiast, and he can't even obviously do that. So it's almost worse, right? And I like them. I have always liked them. I don't think they're making me a better painter, but I think for the jobs that I'm using them for, I think they're good. Like, I think they work for this. It doesn't. I wouldn't paint my Death Watch army for 40k using contrast. I don't think it would work as a paint style. But then for HeroQuest, it works quite well. Now, one thing I've done a bit of mixing of traditional paints and contrast. I mean, I will do on these because the metallics and that I won't use contrast for. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit like you, man, doing that. Since I changed job last year, I've been working from home anyway. So, but I'd still go out maybe once a week or twice a week, and travel a little bit. But day to day I was home based. So when it all flipped to home working, it wasn't really a massive deal for me. I live a very I work in a digital space and tech is my thing, so it wasn't a massive upheaval. But I think it's the it's the mixing up with other stuff that's kind of doing me in a bit. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's definitely good and bad contrasts. Which I can tell by the pots that are full and the pots that are getting near empty. Because I always go for them ones. Because the others I just don't think are very good. For instance, this contrast wildwood is very good for wood. Where some of the others are, yeah. You know, I'm a big fan of the Blood Angels Red, for instance. I think that's a very good. And that's why I have several pots of it. Because for my demon army, it was the perfect colour for all of my corny demons. Yeah, no, I understand, man. It is a shame. I mean, you know, depending on what sort of field. I mean, obviously, tech is a very wide field, so it is a lot easier now to get a role where you could be. Yeah, for instance, if you're a web developer, there is absolutely no reason for you to ever be in an office, or even any kind of developer, frankly. Hardware and networks, yeah, that's harder, right? So, you know, infrastructure is a very difficult one to be a remote person, right? You've got to be in a, you know, in a data center or in an office configuring physical things. Quite a bit of it can be done remotely, obviously, if you've got access to routers and switches and SAN storage and servers and all of that stuff. Via remote tools you can do it, but sometimes you do physically to go and do something. Yeah. Oh, you got the photon, did you guys? I'm so jealous of you right now. Oh yes, did you find a replacement for IPA then? Or did you just get hold of some? I've literally hovered over the button to pick that printer up. I was going to get the new one. There's a slightly newer model that's like 200 quid. It's just come out, but I've resisted. One, because I can't get all the materials you need right now, and two, just resisted. I mean, let's face it, I would have spent that money today at Salute. I would have easily spent £200 at Salute today. If not double. Oh, okay. I can use the meths, okay. Yeah, I think that's super cool. Like I've got two 3D printers back there that are the PLA versions, and they're fantastic for terrain. I've printed off so much terrain from those. I don't think I'll ever buy terrain again with things like printable scenery there and others. I can just print as much as I like for significantly less cost. So yeah, but you can't print miniatures on them. You can, but they're crap. Where those resin printers, oh god, that just looks awesome. My only reason, well, one of my only reasons not doing it as well is at the moment I just don't need more miniatures. I'm having a bit of a stop buying miniatures type thing. In fact, I'm trying to sell off a bunch of stuff, not because I want the money. I just want to get rid of the things. And if it gets really bad, I may just see if people want to take off my hands just to free up space. I just feel like there's so much stuff now. It's getting a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, like I say, for terrain, if you get a good enough 3D printer for terrain, it's brilliant. I generally don't have any issue with the quality that comes off I've printed from either of my two printers to use as terrain. It looks fantastic. I did some Necron buildings the other day, a couple of weeks ago probably now. One was given away for free on Beasts of War, the other one was a freebie from a Kickstarter, and I printed them both out, painted them up, and they look fantastic. Compared to what I'd have paid a bloody fortune for from Games Workshop. And printable, and well, my whole Normandy setup I'm doing is all printable scenery, and you know, I think the whole pack cost £30 or something, and I've printed off buildings and just everything over and over and over again for not much money. Well, this is true. Now, I know there's one thing: paint handles. It's the only time I've ever gone, that's cheap, from GW. I don't think I've ever said that many. When that came out and it was £6, I was like, wow, okay, that's actually reasonable price for, you know, the materials and the quality and the build of the thing. I think everything else in Games Workshop I've gone, crikey, that's expensive. But that's the only thing I've gone, oh, yeah, I'll get a few of those. That's pretty cheap. I think I was just at that point resigned to the fact that they were going to charge £15 for it or something. Well, yeah, there's always been. You are right. But I won't. I won't fault that. The handle is actually a very good handle. It is a good product. I'll stand by that. It won't launch in minis. Yeah. Yeah. It's true. They don't fire your miniatures across the table. That's definitely happened to a couple of the. That's why these HeroQuest models aren't currently in that painting handle, because I have had it where, because they're awkward square bases, works great for round bases, but a square always held in a bit awkwardly, and I have had one of these pinged across the table a little bit. You painting anything, Gaz, at the moment, or are you just chilling? Once these guys are done, I'm then onto a big batch. Then I've got orcs and goblins. No, I've got zombies. I can do the zombies next. That's not too bad. There's only, I think, 6 zombies. But once they're done, yeah, I'm onto goblins and orcs, of which there is quite a number of them. Keller's Keep expansion for HeroQuest did add a whole bunch of orcs and goblins to the box, much like skeletons were added for the Witch Lords to turns. But luckily they're all done. So, but yeah, we're on to goblins and orc territory then. And then we're into the home run. So we're into the big guy, the gargoyle, and then the heroes. Oh, and the sorcerer, the chaos sorcerer. But they're all characters, so they're all going to get a bit more attention to detail made. I'll still use contrast on them, but they might get some extra little touch-ups here and there. Because most of this stuff is on the table for like a turn or two, then dead. Obviously your heroes and everything else is around for a lot longer, so you want them to look a bit nicer. But this stuff goes on and off. Yeah, I'm going to... so all of the orcs have got like jackets on. Don't know why the orcs are wearing jackets, but they are in HeroQuest. So I'm going to do some different colour variations for jackets. I might even do some different greens for some of the skins, so they're not all just exactly the same. And the zombies as well. The zombies are dressed, so I will. Yeah. No, they're not quite that bad, but they are. Yeah, I'll show you I'll show you the orc and zombie I've done as a test. So I've got. So this is the test ones I've done. So there's a goblin. So then one's the tunic. I might do the tunic a few different colours, a few different variations on the tunic. But yeah. This is the zombie. So as you can see, it's wearing a jacket. I could get that to not be so bright, maybe. Yeah, so we'll do the jackets in different colours just to break them up, and the hair in different colours. And then the orcs, as you can see, they're wearing nice little jackets. So we'll mix it up and do the jackets in different colours. And that'll break them up a little bit. Yeah, they have got good little faces. I mean, they're good little models, to be honest. And I'm so, like this one, I'm so glad I have painted them, because, yeah, when you get them and they're just all green plastic. Because this was the big thing. I was umming and ahhing about whether I'd paint HeroQuest, and I was like, well, it's a classic. It should be left alone. It should be left to how it was coming out of the box. But I'm so glad. I don't know, guys, whether I'm going to do something with the bases. At the moment, they're grey. I may try and paint in some, like, because I want it to try and match the board as much as I can. So I don't think I want to texture them in any way, but I might sort of cobblestone them a little bit. You know, might do something, or I might just keep them like a grey. We'll see. I haven't quite decided on it yet. But yeah, there was I even talked to my wife about it, even talked to my kids about it. I was like, should I paint HeroQuest? Because it is a much loved game in our house. Even my wife has played HeroQuest, which means that, you know, it must be good. Because she hates fantasy. That's not a bad idea, is it? Yeah. Yeah, I think I would go with a stony floor. I'm not that, you know, whether I need to do basing or not. It is a board game still. And I'm certainly not going to try and remove them from their bases so I can do texture where they'll be on top of the texture. Because if I try and put texture on it, their feet will be sunk in. There's no way for me to do it thin enough. So I either just paint something on. I am not going to try and remove them from these bases. Because they aren't stuck on, they're moulded to those bases. So I'd be sticking something around their feet. We'll see. We'll see when we get to it. Yeah, we could do something just minimalistic, just to give them something. Like a bit of a dusty floor. I am going to click that link, Gaz, but I saw the word Dremel and my prized possession HeroQuest that I've had for 30 years. I'm not, you know, I love the enthusiasm, but if this is what I think it is, I'm going to look at it and I bet it is awesome. Yeah, that is awesome. That is nice, and I see what they've done there. Yeah, they've just chipped away at the bit of the bases. I do like the weathering. That's something I might take. Is the weathering on the weapons a bit. I did weather the skeletons. What have they got? Scythes? Or what are they called? What's the two-handed with a sickle? That's it. I did weather those, but I haven't weathered any other blades. I might go back and do that. But clearly I don't like this person because theirs looks really nice. And that's not fair. Yeah. I'm not sure I'm that brave to take a Dremel to my my bases. I know for some that's not a big deal, but for me that would be just, yeah. I would end up going through the leg of a bloody miniature. I'm in no way a veteran of this where I have no fear of busting my crap. I'll happily be a novice. I'm alright in my novice bubble. One thing I have been doing, which I don't often do, is varnishing the hell out of these. So I don't normally varnish miniatures, but being I know these are going to get played so much, I have been taking them outside and giving them a few good coats of varnish. Yeah, I know I should. And it's nothing other than laziness, really. It's like when I'm done with the minute, when I've like put the first, like the final paint bit on, and I've done the base. I'm like, yes, I'm done. I then sort of want to move on to the next thing. I don't think tomorrow I need to get it all back out again and varnish it all, but I absolutely know I should. I just had one laying around, to be honest. It's let me grab it. I don't think it's anything special. I've had really bad experience with the GW one, so I've not been using that. That's the one I've got, and it goes on really nice. I've also got that which I airbrush on. This is good, but I saved this one for like really nice miniatures that I have. So I have varnished my. So I'm maybe getting into better habits. My 40k Death Watch. And they've been varnished in this, but everything else just gets done in this while it's being okay weather. The GW one I used that on my, again, just like, oh, I really should varnish this. And that was my Sigmarites, whatever the bloody hell they're called, army, and it frosted the hell out of it. Yeah, I got this from Ash Barker again. From Guerrilla Miniatures. He swears by this stuff, and he does another one as well. What's the other one he uses? Tester's Dull Coat, but I think you only get that in Canada and the US, I think. But I've heard a lot about this. This is a matte varnish. Yeah, this dries to a matte varnish, and it's from Hobbycraft. They do all this this gold tin stuff. So yeah, when the Sigmarites all frosted, and it was really bad. It was like horrific, and I was like, oh my gosh. I looked online, and it seemed to be the answer is, well, there was loads of different answers, but the one I did was cover everything in olive oil and let that dry, and then re-varnish it. But I've heard some people say just use if it frosts, just varnish it with a shiny varnish, whatever the opposite of matte is. I guess it is shiny, and then just re-varnish it with matte, and that solves it as well. But I didn't read that bit of advice first, so I followed the olive oil one, and it's still not perfect. It's still I guess if I showed it to someone, they probably wouldn't pick up on it straight away, but I know it's there. That's it, sorry. I don't know why the word went out of my head. A gloss varnish and then re-matte varnish. But apparently that's a good technique to have anyway, is to do a gloss varnish than a matte varnish, because a gloss varnish is a bit more sturdy. So if you really want to protect your miniatures, do a gloss and then a matte over the top. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've heard, Mando, so... But when you forget to varnish in the first place. Hey Taurus, welcome. Yeah, so I know it's one of those things I should definitely do, and I know I should do it, but I don't. But I have been doing it with HeroQuest, and I have been doing it with my Death Watch army. I keep having to make sure I say Death Watch because I keep trying to say Death Guard, because I have those as well. I think now that I'm having a good experience with this stuff and this stuff, I'll probably be more relaxed about varnishing. But given when I had that horrific issue, I didn't do that anyway. Any Deathwing? That's something else. No Deathwing yet. Well, I do have a massive dragon, so that could be Deathwing, I guess. Right, what's next? I was going to do the gold. I was going to do the gold for the little emblems and stuff. Death Corp. It's all, and Darkanes. No, they're Darkanes. Oh, okay. Oh god, there's too many death things. And then I have a death army. Just with old Nagash. How are you, Tauros? You good? Varnishes, and there's no difference between gloss and matte varnishes when it comes to protecting model. Yeah, well, I would say I was just saying that I've been told that you should always gloss first and then matte over the top. But maybe the point is do 2 coats of varnish. Which, as I was saying, I don't even do 1 coat most of the time, so maybe I should start with 1 and go from there. It is that fear of finishing something and then going, right, let's crack out the varnish, and having something go horrifically wrong. And then you're like, yay, great, I'm glad I spent all this time painting this model to then spray it with a varnish and have it go frosted. Let me just go and stick my head down the toilet. Oh, I've not heard of that. So what's on there then? Is it more just general resources, like more? Because that's what I want to look. I want to see if there is because we've done every quest now in the original game, and then I've got 2 expansions. I've got Return of the Witch Lord. Obviously, I did all this when I was young as well, so I have played most, which is why I'm always the GM of the game rather than playing the game. So we're now going through the expansion. Not that I can remember it, crikey. But we're now going through the expansions. But yeah, when they're done, obviously you can make up your own. James, my oldest son, he's actually writing his own HeroQuest quest at the moment. But yeah, it'd be good. I'm sure there are people out there that have created them over the years. So that's scribed, is it? It's basic HeroQuest. Yeah, I never got into advanced HeroQuest. I don't know why. I think because I was young, I was like, this is enough. I actually don't even know anything about Advanced HeroQuest, apart from it being an advanced version of HeroQuest. So I don't know what makes it advanced. I'm guessing just, I don't know if there's more rules for the miniatures and stuff. Oh, link. Let's click a link. Yeah, I don't know, Gaz. What colour I'm going to do the eye? I don't know is the answer. My instinct is to go red, but red and purple. Bright yellow. Could go with yellow. Could go like a real sort of flash gits yellow or something. Might be quite cool. Something that really contrasts. Oh, this is the article about oh, cool. I shall read that later on. Blue eyes. Ooh, blue's quite a good choice. Yeah, blue eyes. That'd be quite contrasty, wouldn't it? Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll go with blue. Blue should stand out quite nicely amongst the pinky purple skin. What ever happened to the Firmir? It's not really appeared in any GW lore anymore, is it? I can't think of it in fantasy battles or anything. I should bring it back. It's much better than the bloody thing they've done to my high elves. Hashtag not my high elves. Murdered my high elves. Turned them into bloody cow people. They could have been so cool. They could have been cool. They could have done a revamped version of a Swordmaster and it could have been awesome. Instead they gave them bloody fairground mallets and stuck cow horns, more cowbell on top of their heads. Moo elves, yeah. They could have been awesome. Well, the cow level in Diablo 3. Actually, I think there's a cow level in other Diablos, but certainly I remember the cow level in Diablo 3. That's the only time the cows were acceptable. But no, they ruined my high elves. Now I have to live with my ruined high elves. I know, I don't want to ditch them all the time, but because some GW stuff is really cool. Like for instance, Warcry, really cool. That box, I was really surprised by that. The terrain that came out of it, the miniatures that have come out of it, the game's not half bad. It's a bit simplistic, but it's alright, So I was a bit sad when they completely ruined my high elves. That is one of the reasons I rebased them. I know I'm gonna. You've made me sad about me. I don't know how we got onto that, but I rebased all of my elves, thinking because I spoke to someone from Games Workshop years ago, when Age of Sigmar came out, and I was like, oh, it's a real shame they've kind of decimated elves. You know, that was the first painted army I ever did. So how I got back into the hobby, you know, 5 years ago now, by painting the high elves from the Isle of Blood set, and my son did Skaven, and I painted. So the first two things I painted were Skaven and high elves. We played it for a little bit. And then Age of Sigmar came out and they killed off my high elves. And he said to me, don't worry. He said, like, I shouldn't tell you this, but they're going to come back. Can't tell you when, but they're going to come back. I was like, oh, okay. So I rebased them. And, you know, onto rounds. Nice snowy bases. In the hope this will happen. And they've not come back at all. They're just cow elves. Not high elves. Hashtag not my elves. And now they're cows. Yeah, now they are cows. Now they are cows. So sad. So they're over there in the cabinet. The cabinet lights off at the moment because I had all these PCs plugged in for the little LAN we were doing. But the high elves are in that cupboard, in that cabinet, where they will probably remain for a long time, unless I can bring them back as maybe a Age of no, what's it? What's the saga fantasy? Can I do my elves in that? Can I put my elves into saga? Age of Magic, yes. Can I put my elves into the Age of Magic? Then that is what they shall become. So I shall pick up a rule book then for Age of Magic. I have the Saga one. I also have a Viking army for Saga and an ancient Irish army as well. Thanks to Jerry and Lloyd. One game with Lloyd, and that got me getting a Viking army. And then one conversation with Jerry, and by the end of that conversation, I had a basket on Footsore miniatures, well over £100, on a whole bunch of Irish with dags, and a lot of dags in it. But yeah, maybe my elves will see the table again as Saga elves. Because I'm certainly not buying any of that cow rubbish. I'm trying to say Warren that commandos would have been used standard British Army kit rather than was using the offshore arrows. Oathmark, yeah, that's one I've not looked at. Not seen Oathmark yet. But like I said, no more game systems, at least not on purpose, until I've nailed down some of the ones that I have. Right. Is there any other little details I want to do on these dudes? Might just dab a little bone colour onto those. Where's my... Let's go with the Shanty Boon. Shanty Boon. Just going to do some extreme highlights on the tips of this kind of bone tail ball thing. I believe is a technical term. Tail ball bone thing. Yeah, I'm assuming. I don't know if did Beast of War do a Let's Play of Oathmark. I know there was a lot of stuff going on for it when it was kickstarting and stuff. But yeah, I'm guessing it was probably on the agenda before the world decided to implode. Yeah, yeah. And the world thought better of that and said, yeah, we thought you could do some stuff, but then we also thought we could just explode and, make it so you can't do any content apart from what you can do from your homes. I think the guys should just be running 24-hour live streams, just doing shifts. Picked that up by the wrong bit, didn't I? Nunts. Well, we're getting these near the end, which is nice. Good to get a few more miniatures done for HeroQuest. Been streaming for 1 hour and 41 minutes, so I'll try and get finished up in the next 20 minutes. Right, while that nuln oil is going to dry, I am going to whack some grey on the bases. Where the dickens is my grey? Oh, that was it. I was using... My son stole my other grey, so I'm using uniform grey. So I'll whack some of this on the bases. Oh, I seem to have a blockage. That'll be the ball bearing probably, because I can't hear it shaking. There we go. Thanks for joining, Manda. Hope you feel better. May see you, I'll speak to you tomorrow. But thanks for popping in. Always, always, always appreciated. As always, I do appreciate anyone that comes in and watches me butcher a miniature for a couple of hours. The only thing really left to do is to just highlight the axes really once that nuln oil was dried. Don't really intend on doing much else. That'll be another 5 miniatures down, so the next lot is the zombies. There's only 5, I think, zombies. They weren't really added to in the expansions. The Keller's Keep added a whole ton of orcs and goblins, and then the Witch Lord's Return was mostly mummies and skeletons. And the skeletons have all been done, so that was a big batch. Luckily, skeletons are a doddle to paint, and were born for contrast paint. I did the Chaos Warriors, finished those off today as well, so Chaos Warriors are done. So it's goblins, orcs, zombies, and then it's the heroes themselves. So we'll do a nice, I think I'm still going to use contrast, but I am going to make the heroes, paint them up a bit nicer. Spend a bit more time on those guys, because they're on the table throughout, where these guys are often on the table pretty fast. It's rare that a monster is around for very long when it appears. Maybe a couple of turns. And then it's the gargoyle, and then it's the sorcerer. And I think that's it. There's a few bits of furniture left to go. And then if I'm feeling adventurous, maybe we'll have a go at doing something to the basing. There's a big maybe on that. You could do toenails while you're there, yeah. They're nice and yellowy and bony. That's all that, that's all he needs. I haven't done what I normally do when I paint the base, and that's actually go over the foot by accident, going, oh crap, now I need to clear that off and redo. There we go. Any bits missed here? No, a bit at the front there. All good, all good. Bit more at the front there. Bit of a second coat there. Looking spiffing. Cool. Right, let's do the axes and be done. Whew. I'm just going to touch up the axes with a bit of... Oh, that was a big hit on the camera then. Sorry about that. With a bit of the old Ruined Fang steel. It's not actually bad. That's the first time I've hit the camera tonight. Normally happens a few times. Now, one thing I did like when I looked at when you showed me that other one was they rusted up the weapons a bit. Now I have rusted the weapons on the skeletons because they're undead, and you know they've drawn those weapons out of the ground with them, I assume, when they rose. But I haven't done with any others, so I might come back and do some weapon rusting. Like they keep smiling on the rush. Keep smiling. Oh yeah, that I didn't even notice that was on there actually. Keep smiling. Yeah. These are really shitty brushes. These are like I've got fancy brushes, but recently I've just switched to just using synthetic brushes rather than like really fancy. I mean, I've got like, you know, the Kolinsky's Series 7s. I've got a whole bunch of fancy brushes, and then I bought a pack off of Amazon for I think £4 or something stupid, and it came with loads and loads, like, you know, big ones, small ones, some as big as your head, you know, that sort of thing. And this is a number 4 that I'm painting with, and it's got a really nice point on it. It's a little bit bent now. It's getting up. I've used it for a good week or so, but even if it was to get old, I've spent nothing on it. So even for a number 4 brush, which I normally paint with like a 1. So yeah, I've just decided recently I'm gonna stop worrying about painting with amazing brushes because I don't think you need to. Because the problem is I've never, so these three, I have 3 Series 7 brushes. I have a 1, a 000 and a 00, and I've owned these 3 brushes now for maybe 2 years, and if you notice, they've never been used. Because I'm always like, oh, I'm not a good enough painter to warrant using these paint brushes, and it's a waste of money, which means I will never use them. Which was like, why? Why would you do that? I just use them. Doesn't matter if you're going to ruin them. It's better than them just never being used. But no, I'm not good enough. I am not worthy. Yeah. Well, this is a number 4, and it goes to such a fine point that it doesn't matter whether I'm painting with this or a 0. The point is the point. You don't get an even smaller point. It's the point. So if you've only got paint on the very end, you know, painting eyes. I've painted everything with these, and what's the it's all about what points it get down to. And you do read about like some of the best paint, you know, people that have won all of the various competition and awards out there, just paint with, you know, dollar store brushes as they call it or whatever. I don't know how much that's true, but That means I can have them when I visit, right? Yeah, man. Why not? You'll probably serve them a lot better than I will as their master. But yeah, we'll definitely have to get you down for a visit, mate. When this all fricking goes away, you're very welcome to the Hobby Lodge. Yes, you could, yes. It is funny that, you know, us hobbyists were well prepared for this, not only because we have a home full of hobbying stuff to keep us busy in a lockdown, but we also have gloves, we also have protective masks, we also have all of these things, you know, alcohol for cleaning stuff. We are the perfect people to know in a pandemic. I was like, oh, I need to go to the shops. Oh, when do I should really wear a mask and some gloves? 1 second, let me just go to my airbrushing drawer. There's gloves, there's masks, there's everything I need. I haven't quite got a full hazmat suit. Right, have my clumsy fingers wiped any paint off whilst I've been holding them and painting them. That is the other thing about contrast paint. It's very easy to lift off on your finger. Like right there. Which is why, whilst I haven't been varnishing models, if you are going to paint with contrast paint, you pretty much have to varnish, because it is so easy to just lift off on the touch of a finger. I also have some 24-hour ration packs from work just in case. You've gone full prepper mode. I like it. Full on doomsday prepper. Yeah, so these will get a varnish in the morning to lock all that paint in, because it can. It's unbelievably easy. I mean, it's super thin paint, so it's even though you paint it on in one thick coat, it soon dries to be very thin. Which is the purpose. So that's why you can see the white through it for the extreme highlights and stuff. Mostly the skin where I've been holding the model and stuff. Got on his head. Yeah, they look alright, didn't they? They are, you know, 80s style miniatures. I mean, I was, like I said, when I started doing this, I was very dubious am I going to ruin a classic by painting HeroQuest? The more I'm doing it, the more I'm thinking, actually, when we play this now and the whole game is fully painted, it will look 10 times better than the red plastic, green plastic, white plastic. You know, the grey gargoyle, he'll be in all of his splendour. So I think, whilst I was a little bit hesitant about it, yeah, it should be good. So yeah, there we go. Really, it is 2 hours, so it's time for me to probably finish up now. He's got a little bit round his eye. I've just seen that. Let me just capture that. There we go. Just down the top of his eye there. Yeah, I think so. Like I say, I was super worried about it, but now I've done it. I think they'll look cracking. So there we go. 5 Firmir, lost from the world of Warhammer. Maybe they'll make a comeback one day. But yeah, all done. So next time around, it will be either a whole more bunch of these or orcs. I'll probably get the zombies done. Like I say, the plan there will be different jackets on them all. Maybe not all of them, but certainly a variety. I mean, I've got enough paints to do all of them, so maybe I'll just do all of them. Screw it. And then I might come back and rust up some of the weapons, because that does look cool. I maybe went a bit overboard on my skeletons, but those weapons I'm going to assume come out of the ground with the skeletons. But certainly like the zombie and that could do with some weathering on that cleaver, and certainly some of the others. So that's the plan. Right, I'll say thanks very much. It was really awesome to see everybody. I'm just seeing if anyone's online. I don't think anyone is. Oh, yeah, hang on. Genuine Vision's online, so we could raid him. So, yeah, thanks everybody watching. Thanks, Gaz. Thanks everyone that popped in and said hello. Thanks, Taurus. I'm going to raid Jan, who's Irish Steve on Beasts of War. So if you want to stick around, jump into his channel, say hello. That'll be fun. I know he's pushing for partner, which means I think you need a constant over 100 viewers, so that's not an easy thing to get. So let's go and raid him and say hello, and I shall be back. But thanks a lot, everybody. Cheers. Thank you very much. I'm going to raid. Hopefully this works. I press this button. I assume that's going to happen. Oh, I can see people going in. I'm going to say goodbye. It's going to end any second. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Bye. Bear with us, guys. I'm just going to go pee. I will not be long. I shall be right back. Please, I'll see you in a minute. Lavaway, thank you so much for that raid. Back in a second.